EDNA is the latest studio album from London drill artist Headie One. The last 2 or 3 years or so have been massive for Headie One. I think that upward trajectory was kind of sparked by the underground kind of sleeper hit No Better with fellow drill artist RV. The following year would see the release of the mixtape Music and Road, which essentially catapulted him to the very top of the entire UK drill scene. Tunes like 1800 and especially Both had Headie One saturating the UK radio airwaves. As far as Music and Road as a project, it was definitely solid, but I thought it showed just glimpses of his potential, but it was just a bit too one-dimensional and kind of fell flat. However, earlier this year, Headie One released what I think will eventually be looked back on as one of the most pivotal releases in his career. Gang was a collaboration with London-based producer Fred Again, and it showcased Headie One's desire and willingness to completely step out of his comfort zone and try some new things. It made for a project that was quite experimental in nature. It was combining elements of traditional drill music, hip-hop, electronic music, and some ambient music as well. Headie One was showing just how comfortable he can rap and sing over these different sounds that he might not be used to. He was also collaborating with some names that you wouldn't traditionally associate with drill music, people like Jamie XX and Sampha and FKA Twigs. I feel with Gang, Headie One was taking some pretty big risks, especially for someone who was at the start of breaking through into the mainstream, but I feel it paid off. Gang, it was essentially the project for me that opened my eyes to the diverse artist that Headie One is, and that diversity completely comes through on the new album. EDNA is a largely entertaining and very strong combination and marriage of the two different versions of Headie One we've been presented with thus far. It's a big, massive, glossy, expensive, sprawling project with even more diverse guests. You've got UK rappers like M. Huncho, Skepta, AJ Tracy, H, sitting alongside big American artists like singer Cash Page, Future, and even Drake. Production-wise, Headie One is most definitely in his drill bag, but with a sprinkling of some R&B and Afrobeats influences as well. A running theme on this album for me is Headie One looking inward and also looking forward past his previous life of crime, and that's perfectly exemplified by the first song, Teach Me. It's him moving past his past whilst still acknowledging that that's a big part of who he is. Headie One isn't scared to rein it in and get a bit more subdued and subtle as well. Songs like Five Figures and Psalm 35 are relatively subdued for a drill track. They still are drill tracks in the essence, but they allow him to get a bit more personal and a bit more introspective. I think the standout from this crop, this family of more subdued tracks, is the song Therapy, which is the penultimate song. Headie One himself said that this was one of the last songs for the project to be recorded, and that definitely shows in the lyrics. Therapy feels like the final page of a book. It has him looking back on his past and looking forward with positivity to the future. The very subtle, quiet, subdued, and ethereal beat is one of the strongest beats here on the album as well. And I think the only gripe I have with this song is that it's just too damn short. I think another talent that Headie One showcases on EDNA is his very, very good ear for beats. The song Bumpy Ride with M. Huncho is one of the best drill beats I think I've heard all year. It has what sounds like a kind of strange reversed guitar sample, some faint piano, and a single vocal sample sits quietly underneath these traditional, very heavy, distinct drill percussion patterns. Headie One flows effortlessly on this beat, and M. Huncho provides an expected, very strong feature. Mainstream is another song that stuck out to me on the first listen. I think it's one of the most unique songs on here. It's kind of like a strange, deconstructed Afrobeat, and it has Headie One putting out a very, very one-of-a-kind flow. Also, the hook on here is one of the funniest hooks I think I've heard all year, where he says, mainstream rapper but my arse full of cling. Of course, EDNA being this big glossy, high-end album, it has to have a couple of radio-ready hits, and it's definitely not lacking in that department. Of course, we've got the Only You freestyle, which dropped with Drake a couple of months back, and the song Ain't It Different featuring AJ Tracey and Stormzy, which has been all over the radio here for the last month or so. The song Princess Cuts, I think, might be the most overtly radio-friendly song on this album, and it might be just one of the most flat-out, fun, danceable tunes on here as well. That TSB beat, once you get a beat from TSB, is pretty much guaranteed quality. The hook is catchy as shit, and Young T and Bugsy fit perfectly on it as well. It's a radio hit for sure, there's no doubt about that, but I think Headie One doesn't dilute his sound in lieu of having a radio-friendly single, and I think that is what's important, that it's fine to have something that's popular and that's appealing to a mass audience as long as you stay true to the sound and who you are, and I think he's done that on this song. We have to speak about Parlez-vous Anglais, or Parlez-vous Anglais, with H. This might be my favourite fucking tune on the entire album. The beat is just made for someone to go crazy on and to just completely kill it. And I think both artists do that. Their chemistry is palpable. The back and forth, I think, is amazing. And I never in a million years would have thought that my favourite feature on this album was going to be H. Ever since that H2O project dropped, I think last year, I wasn't a fan of that project at all. But I think H has grown so much over a short period of time, and I think it's fair play to him. The only real significant kind of disappointment I had on this album was the song F You Pay Me, which was produced by Kenny Beats. It's pretty much, well, the beat is pretty much a carbon copy of the beat he made for Slow Tie early on in the year with the song Magic. The beat is, I'm all for having low-key minimalist beats, but I don't think this beat does much, especially for a Kenny Beats beat. The Ivorian Doll feature is probably the best aspect of this song, but it's not one I've been dying to return to. Thankfully, there are way more pros than cons on this album. Future on a drill beat on the song Hear No Evil is amazing. I think Future should just fuck off America, just move here and become a full-time drill artist. Also, this Hear No Evil was produced by Wonder Girl, who's, of course, well known for producing songs for people like Travis Scott and Don Toliver. I had no idea she had it in her to make such an accomplished and full-sounding drill beat. The album closes with the song Cold, featuring American singer Cash Page, and is again produced by Wonder Girl. I think this is one of the most holistic songs on the entire album. The instrumental Wonder Girl provides fits the theme and essence of the song so well, and it provides Headie One a canvas to detail where he's from and where he's intending to go. Headie One so deftly describes his clearly troubled upbringing and how that has affected his transition into being a megastar. The Cash Page feature is very colourful, it's full of life, it's very dynamic, and I think it adds just that extra dimension that this song needed. I think EDNA is a very strong studio album, especially one that's your first big, high-end, glossy studio album. It's very diverse, it's layered, and for the most part, it stays completely true to who Headie One is. There's clearly a reason why Headie One is hyped up as the so-called king of drill, but putting a project out like this kind of, I would say, adds some legitimacy to that claim. Those are my thoughts on the album. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Make sure to like, subscribe, and dong the bell, and I'll see you next time.